Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Power Rangers The Lightning Collection Turbo Blue Centurion. If Saturday morning cartoons fueled your imagination as a kid and powers your action figure collecting now as an adult, then you're in the right place. Thanks for stopping by and welcome to Saturday Morning Toy Collector. And if you like my content, please consider subscribing.
Who's that?
I am the Blue Centurion, defender of intergalactic law. Halt your aggressive actions against these defenseless citizens at once.
Wait, you don't understand. I'm a Power Ranger.
Good citizens, you may go. You are under arrest.
Alright, taking a closer look at the front of the package here. I really like the artwork in the top left corner with that lightning strike. I think that looks really good. You have the branding on the bottom right and Lightning Collection. You can see the name Turbo Blue Centurion, and then a full digital render of the figure on the front, what looks really, really nice. Although this box is easily twice as big as it needs to be for what's included. Here on the back of the package, you can see full digital render of the figure again, and basically everything that comes in the package: his accessories, his weapons, the holsters, the hands, the blast effect, and then you got all your legal stuff down at the bottom. And for those who are wondering what the package looks like once you get it all opened up, this is how your figure comes. This is still coming in that plastic-free, all paper packaging, so you can see all the accessories are, bundled up and packaged on the left, with the figure packaged on the right. And speaking of accessories, this is everything you get right out of the package. You get 2 gripping hands for the various weapons and accessories. You get 2 fists. You get his 2 replaceable holsters, one for the left, one for the right. You get his police whistle accessory, which is super tiny and really hard to get him to hold, so be careful you don't lose that thing right out of the package. You also get his Synergizer, which is, I believe, what that's called, in its compacted form. It's extended gun form, and then it's even further extended sword form or baton form, however you want to call that. Of course, the blast effect plugs into the pistol there. The weird thing is that they went ahead and painted black on the Synergizer as it's in its compacted form, but not, they didn't paint the handle of the pistol or the sword baton black, which is kind of a weird choice to do that. I'd rather them just left it off of the compacted version, and everything would have looked the same at that point. I think would have been a better choice. Taking a look at the figure itself, standing just straight up in a standard pose, man, this thing is just toyetic. It's just so pretty as a toy. It looks like an old school toy you would have got from like the 70s, with the very straight angular arms and legs. There's, I understand that he doesn't come with a ton of stuff to make him like a deluxe figure, but I think maybe one of the things that make him deluxe is the paint apps and all of the translucent plastic that they've used on the shoulder pads, on the chest piece, and all the extra paint apps that are on this guy. I just think he looks pretty incredible, even in a straight up and down pose. Even though I've never seen Power Rangers Turbo, and I've only seen a few clips online of him in action, he just looks the part. He looks really cool, and this is just a fun toy to own. Checking out the back of the figure, you can see that there's some sculpted detail on his back and on his robot bum. Looks pretty cool. I dig all the blue, like this blue metallic plastic that they used. It looks really nice and metallic-like, even though it is, just plastic. Taking a closer look at the front of the figure here, you can see a little bit of paint slop on the helmet at the top, where the blue has bled onto the helmet a little bit. I like the gold at the top of the helmet, and then the blue, yellow, and red on the right above the visor looks really nice. I like the antenna and the mouthpiece that comes around. I like all the translucent plastic that's used on the shoulder pads and on the chest, and you can even see his little gold badge And look at all that detail right there in the middle of his abdomen with all the dots and triangles and circles painted and all that sculpted detail. They didn't have to go that extra mile, but man, it sure pays off that they did. Here's the figure side by side, so you can see what he looks like from the left and right. And when he's standing, the figure on the left, you can see he's got like this communicator or some sort of device. Again, I apologize, I don't know much about this character. So whatever that little device is on his left just looks really neat. It looks really cool. I'm glad he has like a somewhat of an asymmetrical design. And I dig those bright neon green, like whatever those are, like safety patches that are on his arms. I think that looks really cool. And taking a closer look at the helmets, again, you can see some of that paint slop and a little paint rub on the left side of the helmet. But the police is tampoed on there really nice on each side of the helmet. Just looks really good. And you can see that asymmetrical design again on the helmet. And you got the antenna on the left side and his communicator on the right side of the figure. Right side of the helmet. Looks really nice. All right, going over the articulation with this guy. His head can look up about that far, which is really good. But he can't really look down at all. He doesn't really go down any further than that. But the head is on a ball joint, so you can, wobble it all around. You can get some nice good tilt. You can kind of angle it forward and back a little bit. I'm pleased with like these shoulder pads, which is really cool because if you guys can see, they're on a separate little cuff inside the arm, so they allow the arm to go all the way around, and they can kind of like lift up and get out of the way, so that even with those big shoulder pads, the Blue Centurion can still hit that T-pose, which is really neat. He also has, if you move this out of the way, you can see he's got upper bicep swivel, which is really cool. He also has double jointed pinless elbows, which is neat. But because of this little sculpted detail here in the middle, you're not going to get him to go all the way up because of that. This is really cool. He has 2 points of articulation right here in the abdomen. One is this upper swivel right here where you can swivel all the way around. You can pivot up and down, back and forth, and side to side, so you get a little bit of range of motion there. And I thought this was really neat because they sculpted this articulation point around this control panel in his abdomen so that he can bend forward about that far, which is really good, and then he can bend back all the way. He also has a nice little articulation point that goes all the way back. So I really do appreciate that. For him being a robot, he's pretty articulated. The legs do have a slight little drop down to them so that you can kick all the way forward, and he can kick back quite a ways, which is really cool. That's really neat. Because he doesn't have much of a robo butt, but double jointed pinless legs, but much like the elbow, because of this sculpted piece right here, he's not going to go all the way back to touch his butt. But there you have it for the legs. Then down below, there's a little right above the ankle swivel, which is really neat. It's kind of unique. I've never really seen one of those before. And then up and down hinge, swivel, and pivot at the feet. And the feet are pretty substantial, which is really good because they help him stand up pretty well. Now you'll see that I already have his holster on here, and I'll show you how that works. So what we'll do here is we'll pull this one off and we'll put it back to the way it was in package, and that's the way it was in package. So I believe from the reference videos that I've watched, because like I said before, I haven't I've never watched Turbo, so I don't know, but in universe, in canon, I believe he only used this holster here. So what you do is you just pull it out. It's labeled R. This piece is labeled R, and it's also keyed, so you can only put this on this thigh. You do have the actual other holster, which is also labeled R, and like I said, it's keyed, so it only goes in one side, so you can use that to put his Synergizer in that holster. Also, you can pop this one off if you'd like, and you can give him a second holster. Again, this is labeled L, and it is keyed, so you can only put it in this side. And then if you wanted to pretend like his Synergizer was two different weapons, you could put something else over here in this side if you want to. But this is not in-universe accurate, so we're going to go back to how it looks in-universe. And there you have it. There is the articulation and how the holsters look and work on Blue Centurion here. So let's get him standing upright as best we can. Like I said, I don't have him on a stand right now, so let's have him stand right there. And let's bring in a couple of other Power Rangers that we have here. One is the Lightning Collection remastered Billy, Blue Ranger. So he stands much taller than him. And then I also have Daniel LaRusso from the Cobra Kai crossover. So that's how much he stacks up against him. And if you wanted to put him into some other lines, here he is with the Japanese Toei Spider-Man, and here he is next to Star Wars Black Series. He stands much taller than Luke, and then here he is against Indiana Jones and pulling Spider-Man out of the way, which he looks really nice with Spider-Man. Here he is next to a G.I. Joe Classified, so he's about the same size as Classified, which is kind of unique for Power Rangers. So anyway, let's get this guy under some lighting, into some backgrounds, and let's see how he poses up and give our final thoughts on the Blue Centurion. I really like this figure. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that I've seen it like in my local Targets over the last couple of months, maybe 3 months, and to me it's just very toyetic. It's very, it looks like a fun toy. Just to play with, mess around with. I haven't, like I said, 100 times now, I've never watched Power Rangers Turbo. So other than a few clips that I looked at online just to, sort of get myself caught up, I didn't know a lot about this guy, but he looks fun. What's not to like about a robotic police officer, cop from the future, like traveling through time? It's just, hey, it's Time Cop. This is just a great toy, one that I've had a lot of fun with, and I'm glad I've picked up and added to my collection. And maybe I'll get around to collecting Power Rangers Turbo one day. Who knows? If so, then I'll have the Blue Centurion in my collection and ready to go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. I hope you enjoyed this video with the new format. Please let me know in the comments down below if you did. Please check us out over at Instagram.com/Saturday Morning Toy Collector. And this has been the Saturday Morning Toy Collector. I'm your host, Mark, and I will see you in the toy aisles.